But so, anyways, your media company, are you gonna sell anything to that dude who got you unbanned from Twitter? And then are you
Um,
gonna allow competing offers to whatever they do?
I don't even know what money I need to raise yet for it. We'll see what happens. Right now, I need to work on. Here's what I need to do. I was gonna schedule a dinner with Dan, but I don't know if I talked to other people. What do you think is in it? But I don't actually know your experience either. So everything you say, I take with a grain of salt. This DGG side
I mean,
project is like coming along like pretty well. I think we've
mhm.
gotten like a couple MVPs out, or we're close to having number two out if it's not already out. But I need to decide what is an appropriate equity structure for the company because I don't know what the answer to that is. Like, is
So
it like me at 51% and me doling at everything else, or is it me at like 90% and like giving like shreds of equity to people?
I think it depends on a lot of stuff, and I think a lot of these conversations we would probably want to have offline to structure what the appropriate compensation structures are for everybody involved and everything else. So I would
True.
say
Cake and Jay are
at a
always listening. Yeah, true.
yeah, so like as a general perspective, you always want people, especially early level employees, aligned with your company. So
Mm-hmm.
that's going to mean offering them some sort of profit share, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Cake and Jader know exactly how your site is set up, and they could just like go create a similar product in like not a big fashion, and it wouldn't be terribly difficult for them because they've already built it once.
Mm-hmm.
The important things to remember are your ability to like brand and advertise it, and
Mm-hmm.
your ability to bring other people into the equation to give more value, right?
Yeah.
Because again, for perspective, let's say that you take 51 and you give Cake and Jader 49%, right? Because you
Mm-hmm.
just want whatever ownership. And let's say if you do that, you can only bring in $10 million. But if you're to give Cake and Jader 1%, and you could go out, you could go to some VCs and say, like, I'm going to raise like $500 billion. And so their 1% is going to be worth like 50 times more than whatever 49% ownership that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Then
I'm just
that's more
curious in
valuable to them.
general to
Yeah.
what is like the general when people are like starting businesses. So you said like equity is probably a more normal thing.
Yeah, equity is relatively normal, but it's going to be proportionate to your ability to finance it with them or without them and run it without them. So it's already kind of harder because they've already like created it with you, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because theoretically, your negotiating part at the beginning is like, Cake, you're a mid-tier dev, Jader, you're a mid-tier dev. I can just go find any fucking losers to do this. But
Jesus.
maybe instead of giving you 10% and 100K, I'm gonna give them like 1% and like 500K. And so that's something that you generally want to negotiate ahead of time. So like you're already kind of behind the ball, but you're also ahead of the ball because you haven't promised them anything. As long as you haven't said like, oh, I'm going to give you 10% or whatever. Well, then now they've just basically worked for like $5 an hour instead of like the 500 that they deserved. And so you have power there. So it's going to be a lot more complicated. And then it also depends on what they can continue to contribute in the future, right? Because if you can replace Cake with some guy you buy off Fiverr for like $10 an hour, well, then like your power is going to be a lot different, and your ability to continue and grow is going to be very important as well. Because who cares if you could replace like what Cake could do with code?
Mm-hmm.
If Cake is able to, go out and network and provide whatever assurances and manage new people in the future, because you can grow into what the business needs as opposed to what the exact requirements are to get where you are now. So it's going to be very specific to what they can offer, what they have offered, and what they can continue to offer and grow. Because if Cake can manage like 50,000 new employees as you basically create the new Twitch, well, that's going to give him a massively different value in terms of the compensation you want to give him, as opposed to like, well, Cake can only like write SQL on lies. So it's going to depend on the specifics and everything that you're actually going to need to negotiate with them, and that would require me to ask a lot of questions about like the proprietary aspects of the company, which I'm sure you don't want on stream. So
Gotcha. Wow.
yeah, I know that's not really useful advice at all, but um, I would say, like, as a general rule of thumb, for employees, especially if you're trying to bring on, like, say you want to ultimately end up with like 100 or 1,000 plus person company, when you're bringing on C-level employees, um, you want to bring them on as like a relatively equal partner to you. So like say you're making 50%, if there's like 5 employees, well, probably want everybody making like 10% of what the company is,
Mm-hmm.
but you want their equity to be dilutable so that at the end of the day, like when you have 100 plus people on, well, they're still going to have 2 or 3% of the company. Um, that's generally the rule of thumb. Is like if you're an early employee, you're going to be closer to 5% of the ultimate diluted equity, but like probably no less than like 2 or 3%. Um, but again, it's going to depend on a lot of different things and how exactly you want to organize the structure and how big it's going to be at the end.
Okay, I got you. I got you. I
There's
got you.
really,
Yeah, because there's a lot of variables.
yeah, there's no one advice fits all structure for this. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think, oh man, I think there's a ton of ways to monetize your site that just haven't been touched at all. But that's neither here nor there. We can
Maybe
talk
that's
about that
for
offline.
rage. That's for rage.gg, dude.
Yeah,
Make your
rage.gg.
site.
Well,
Go
I
do it.
mean, I'm never going to get an audience as big as yours, but, or anything else. That's just not my interest. But yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff you can do to get more revenue from all the subs and everything else that you have right now.
Gotcha.
Do you have a marketing guy?
No, we're just we're good. We got all our shit.
Yeah, because like I think the biggest weakness of your website is like doing a lot of retargeting and doing a lot of like email marketing and everything else in order to induce people to sub and everything else. Um, I think that's probably the biggest weakness that most streamers don't do. Like just like an email like, hey, in 3 days your gift sub's going away. Like, have you considered subscribing? Or like, hey, here's like a 10% off. I think you can drive a lot of revenue that way. Or subs will get like, a $5 discount on merch. And then that way it'll drive more recurrent revenue because people will like sub and like it, or they'll buy merch that they otherwise wouldn't have because they think they have whatever. But that's I think there's a lot of merchandising or just advertising opportunities that just aren't being followed up upon. So
You know what the best idea I got in an email once was that we don't do that we need to start doing is we need to have fucking holiday sales on subs. Hell yes.
I don't know if I would do it as holiday sales. I think there's a lot better ways to do price discrimination besides holiday sales. I think that's an okay way to do it, but I think there's much more efficient ways of monetizing through that, through sales and other things.
Maybe. But how cute would it be to have a holiday sale?
I mean, yeah, it would be better than nothing for sure. Yeah. But then the other problem is when you're running those holiday sales, the question is how much do you discount it, and then are you going to stop full price sales because people are just going to wait till the holidays? And so those are the important questions you need good marketing people for.
Gotcha.
So you're going to offer 10% off for Schizo September?
Maybe. Do you think All right, bye.
Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.